just line up the gate and all shoot out. But before that, there's a process before to get the bad actors or whatever, that, and that stuff just didn't happen. But I mean, so I kind of had an issue with, your group was part of this legislation pushing this, and somebody like me, I didn't know much about crypto mining before this. I mean, to me, this is almost like a lightning issue. It's like, unless it's near you or strikes you or is close to you, you don't really pay attention to it. And I think and this is a new industry, as we're talking about. So, I mean, the frustration is if the bad actor part was there, you should have, if you're lobbying for this bill, which you obviously did, you hired a lobbyist for it, you were part of it, then you should have been out there saying what the bad actors are and put that in the language. And, the other issue that I had, nothing I didn't say at Harrison, is that somehow this industry now is like a protected class out there. I mean, I understand as the testimony from Harrison from your point of view, and I get it. If you're investing money, want to put a facility in, you don't want to have something there. But the reality is that's with every business out there. I mean, I talked about farmers. We have more regulations. So what we've done by trying to say you're not going to discriminate against this business, the reality is what this wound up doing is discriminating against every other business out there, because now, as falls first, there is a protected class with this industry out there. And as we're learning on the back end, it's almost harder to chase a rabbit after it's already out. There is differences between a lemonade stand and a bar. I mean, there's, even though they both serve drinks, there's a difference between, I'm a poultry farmer, that we have 180,000 chickens versus somebody that has 1 or 2 backyard chickens, okay? So there is a big difference in that. So, and one of the things that I'm troubling with that is very problematic to me is this idea of these new terms of cryptocurrency, those of cryptocurrency, blockchain, and data centers, and this marriage or unity of trying to make it into data centers. So example, a bank up there has a data center, it's storage facility. In the testimony of Harrison, you said in cryptocurrency there's really basically no storage facility, but yet you're merging it into like a data center. So if the highways are like an internet, I mean, this is like trucks and you're transporting something or going somewhere. So if you're going to currency, you're going at a different destination than say the local bank center. And trying to merge those things and not taking away the flexibility of cities and counties to regulate that, which we're way too much of, because cities and counties can meet monthly and change and be flexible, even if decisions we don't like. We meet every 2 years. So, this extra protected class, the reality is, somebody, if you're protecting the class in this and putting extra protections in there, you're discriminating against everybody else. This data center issue, back to that again. So I understand like a data center when you're trying to merge those things, and my thinking of that is like a data center at Amazon or Walmart want to track your purchases and then guess your next purchases off what your previous purchases are. That is totally separate and different than a cryptocurrency. I mean, I don't see them as the same other than you using a bunch of computers.
Do you want me to respond?
Was that a question?
Yeah, as I mentioned earlier, I think data centers and crypto mining centers are kind of like first cousins, that they share a lot of similarities in terms of structure. But a data mining center can do a vast array of things, given what their computers are used for, whereas a crypto mining center does one thing specifically, which is mine for Bitcoin.
But I think in the legislation, what should have been the discussion on the front end was much more of that discussion, because there is no data center, whether it's a bank data center or something for a trucking company, there is no data center out there, from what I understand about the Worcester situation, where they applied for 2,000 gallons and now they're using 250,000 gallons. I mean, there is no data center out there that is operating 24 hours a day. We've never had that before. So when we use this concept of data center and we put that in the bill, to me, that's like a Trojan horse and trying to mislead and get into something that shouldn't be done. I think that clearly there is much more difference between cryptocurrency, from what I know right now today, versus what my idea and what I think the general public's idea of data centers. I think those two things need to be separate because, like I said, there's no data center that I know that has ever existed or been a problem that's using 250,000 gallons or not using 10 megawatts, which would power 7,000 homes. I mean, so we have, this bill to me was almost like a Trojan horse in the way it got in here. So that's just a statement, and certainly I'm going to present my interim study bill here, I think, next week, and we'll get a counter argument, something different than this meeting, which is one side.
Thank you for your comments. Appreciate it.
All right. I have a